Hi, this is Mr. Knowles, and this video is an instructional video that goes along with a worksheet that students will get in class, and it's set A11, independent worksheet 6, and it goes over comparing and multiplying fractions and decimals. So let's get started here. Number 1. Use one of the following symbols to make each expression below true. Okay, so we have greater than, less than, and equal to. So I'm going to look at A, which is right here. I have 11/16 and 3/4. Well, what would be easy to do is have the denominators of both fractions be the same. So I have 11/16, and I'm comparing that with 3/4. Well, why don't I change 3/4 to something over 16? Alright, well, 4 times 4 is 16, so 3 times 4 would be 12. So 3/4 is the same as, is equivalent to 12/16. So I could write 12/16 here. And now I can see that 12/16 is greater than 11/16. So I would use this symbol here, like that. So that's one way to do these. I'll erase that. Put my little symbol back up there. So 11/16 is less than 3/4. Let's look at B. So I have 3/4 and 3/5. What's something that 4 and 5 can both become where they'll be the same number. So we're making equivalent fractions. So I have 3/4 and 3/5. Well, they do both go into 20. So I'm just going to put a 20 down here. And over here I'm just going to put a 20 down here, and I'm going to compare them. Well, 4 times 5 is 20, so 3 times 5, that's 15. Well, 5 times 4 is 20, so 3 times 4 is 12. And now, that's what I want to compare. I want to compare the fractions, my equivalent fractions that I made. Those. And I just honestly just have to look at the top number. I have a 15 on one side and a 12 on the other. 15/20 is larger, is greater than 12/20. So the 3/4 is greater than the 3/5. Like that. Alright, 6/14 and half. This one you could probably almost do in your head. Half as 14ths. Well, 2 times 7 is 14, right? Put a little times 7 up there. I don't know if you can see that or not. 1 times 7 is 7, so 7/14 is the same as half. And what's larger, 6 or 7? Well, the 7's larger. D. D's kind of tricky, don't you think? Because you have a 31 on the bottom. But I know I could double that. If I doubled that, I get 16 60 seconds. Kind of tricky. Half would be 62. What would be over it? 31 over 62. Half is larger than 16 60 seconds. You could also look at the 8/31st here, and if you know something about fractions, you know that 8, the number 8 on the top, the numerator, is less than halfway to 31. So overall, you know half is larger to begin with. Do one more here. Let's do one of these decimal ones down below, like G. So let's look at G and then we'll move on. This one. We'll have a decimal. I have 34 hundredths. Remember, 34 hundredths, you could rewrite that as 34 hundredths. It's the same thing. It's equivalent. It's a fraction that's equivalent. 1/4, if you remember your fourths, that's the same as 25 hundredths. Or you could write it like this, 25 hundredths. That's an equivalent fraction. Well, which one's larger, the 34 or the 25? The 34 is. So 34 hundredths is greater than 1/4. In H, I have 58 hundredths and 4/5. Well, 4/5, can you think of that as hundredths or as a decimal? If you're unsure, you could do this, divide. Oop, got it the wrong way around. You have to divide the top by the bottom number. You divide the 4 by the 5. 5 doesn't go into 4. Now I'm looking at how many 5s go into 4D. That's 8. Subtract, I get nothing. I can bring that other 0 down. That's just 80 hundredths. So this is the same as 80 hundredths. Or 80 hundredths. 4/5 is larger. Let's go to number 2. Convert the decimal to a fraction and multiply. Write the product in simplest form. So what they want you to do for number 1 is take 25 hundredths, convert that to a fraction, which is 1/4. And then what's 1/4 of 13? So you'd have to do this. How many 4s go into 13? 3. I need a 0. Bring the 0 down. Put the decimal here. How many 4s go into 10? 2. Run out of room. I'll need another 0 to bring down. How many 4s go into 20? That's 5. And 20 minus 20 would be 0, so I have no remainder. So my answer is 3.25. 57 times 50 hundredths. Well, that's the same as half. So basically they want to know what's 57 times half, or what's half of 57. I think I'll use a different color. 2 goes into 5 twice. Bring the 7 down. 2 goes into 17 4 times. Oop, more than that, right? It's actually going to be 8. 8 times 2 is 16. run out of room again. So I have 1 left. So I'm going to need a decimal right there. And the 0 will appear. And this 0 I have to bring over here and add it to that. 2 times 5 is 10. So my answer is 28 and 5/10, which is also the same as half. F is tricky. You have 37 times 75 hundredths, which is 3/4. So basically what you want to do is take the number 37, divide it into 4 pieces first, then add up 3 of those 4 pieces together, because you want 3 of the 4. Let's see. I don't have a lot of room here. So 4 goes into 37. I might need some zeros there after the decimal. Let's see, 9 times? It's 36. Bring the 1 down. Bring the 0 down. 4 goes into 10 twice. Oops, should only be an 8. My mistake. There's a 2 here. This 0 comes down to make 20. Running out of room again. So I have a 20 over here. And 4 goes into 20 5 times to make 20. 0. Okay, so I have 9 25 right here. 9 and 25 hundredths. But I'm not done yet because that's 1/4 of 37. I need 3/4. So I need 3 of those 9 and 25 hundredths. So you could add 3 together, or you could times it by 3. Let's see, 15, 7, and 27/75 is my answer. That one had a few steps in it. I'm going to have you guys do the rest. That's probably the hardest one right there, actually. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you're still having a hard time with this paper, just ask me and I'll help you with the other problems. I hope you are able to fit your work into those little spaces. If not, show your work on the other side. That might be a better place because this worksheet doesn't really give you a lot of room to do your work. I will see you later. Bye.